Hello and welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Marie Kato. This week, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen visited Belgrade, calling on Serbia to move from rhetoric to action in its bid to join the European Union. The visit drew both applause and criticism across Serbia. Some see new hope, others accuse Brussels of overreach. Here to give us perspective is Nikola Ćurčin, Vice President of the Independent Teachers Union of Serbia. Hello, and thank you very much for joining us.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here.
So von der Leyen said it's time for Serbia to move from words to action. What do you think Brussels hoped to achieve with this trip, and what was President Vučić looking for in return?
Well, it's a very important visit. It was a visit to complete Western Balkans region. So Mrs. von der Leyen visited all countries in Western Balkans that are in the process of EU accession. And I think in Serbia, for the first time, she delivered some very strong messages, and with actually probably a concrete deadline for a change in attitude to be seen. She said she will see President Vučić in Brussels in a month. So it was a very important visit. The first address, she talked about difference between autocracy and democracy. It was a very clear message. She also talked about that democracies must allow the people to protest peacefully and not to be badgered and to pressured about it. She also said that there is a solution for gas problems that Serbia will face if there is no more gas arrangement with Russia. And I think one of the most important things she did, this is the only country in the Western Balkans, she met with the civil society representatives. So it was not only with the government, but also with the civil society as a formal meeting. And these were very, very important messages.
I'll go back to the civil society's meeting in a second, actually. But given the political atmosphere domestically and the tensions with Kosovo and the growing public fatigue with the EU process, how was this visit received in Serbia in the broad sense?
Well, I think it's received as a step in the right direction. Of course, you have people that expect more because they are because we have a serious repression by the police during these protests, and there are people who expect more. But for those who understand how European politics works, they are happy that this is happening, and it is definitely a step in the right direction. And we have to understand that, you see, Mrs. von der Leyen was a part of the Angela Merkel government as a Minister of Defense and Minister of Labor and Youth. And she was a part of this government that actually done the whitewashing of Mr. Vučić 10 years ago, because he was a former Milosevic's Minister of Information and had a lot of baggage from those times. So they were the ones that promoted him and his party also as somebody that are actually European. So it was very difficult for them to say that this has failed. So I think this is a very good step. And we had a lot of pressure coming from the European Greens, Social Democrats, Liberals to make this change in attitude when talking to Mr. Vučić.
And did Ursula von der Leyen's trip, what did it mean for regular Serbians, especially considering the upcoming Novi Sad 1-year anniversary? Was it simply the trip of a Eurocrat that appeared somewhere in the media, or did it mean something more? Was it followed more closely?
Well, what we saw is that actually some political prisoners have been finally released yesterday. The ones that were more than 7 months in incarceration, either in prison or in house arrest. So we see, and we also saw a very clear message that the European Union will look to the 1st of November, the big rally that will happen in Novi Sad very closely. This is a very important message because a couple of days ago, the president said there's going to be a lot of violence in Novi Sad on the 1st of November. And usually when he says something like that, we have false flag operations that end up in beating of the demonstrators by the police. So I think this is a good message for the people in Serbia that they will be protected this way from police violence.
I just want to go back
and this is taken very good. And also, I have to say just a second, because this is also important for us. It's the trade unions are under pressure. I'm a part of a teachers' trade union, and we had problems even registering the branches of our organization for the past 9 months. It has been completely stopped. So we expect this to make the government actually abide the law.
I want to go back to the Civic Initiatives Organization meeting that you referred to a little bit earlier, and that meeting with Ursula von der Leyen. The feedback was very positive, and the time that was spent with her, the meeting was longer than scheduled. She came across as very genuinely interested in all the causes and the problems that Serbs experience. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, what is important about this meeting is that the organizations that were represented on the side of the civil society were legitimate. So these were the people there were really the ones that represent civil society in Serbia. And also, it's very important because we had, let's say, organized meetings in the National Assembly a couple of weeks ago that were talking about the laws of foreign agents. You're familiar with that in Georgia and in other countries. This is something that was threatened, so the civil society is threatened by this. And this was an important message to show that the civil society is important to EU and that it needs to be considered as people that will say the truth about what is happening in the society. And this is very important. Also, during this session, another session was held in Bundestag in Germany. Actually, a representative of civil society was there giving the address, and also Ana Brnabić as the president of the assembly from the government side. So basically, civil society is now given a voice that will be recognized in the European Union, and they will not only look what the government is saying, but they need another voice as a confirmation that the changes are happening. And this is the message also that was delivered yesterday. We want results, not just talk that we are going to do this. It's been 4 years since we opened the cluster. So Brussels wants to see results now, and fast.
Absolutely. And what are the main challenges that that Serbia challenges, the challenges that Serbia faces right now domestically, especially in terms of the prospects for joining the EU, keeping in mind that President Vučić has a close relationship with both Russia and China?
Yes, this is of course a problem, and there is a big crisis along with the political crisis that is basically about rule of law and general democratic rights and free elections and things like that. That's been a big problem for the past couple of years, and the corruption that is huge in the country, and that was the cause of the fall of the Canopy 16 deaths and everything that happened in the past year. But on the other hand, we have now full sanctions on our oil industry, actually a refinery, and this is the company called NIS. And this is a huge problem for the country, and will shake really the economy of the country, because the NIS is also one of the biggest payers to the budget through taxes. And at 1st of November, the refiner will run out of oil, and by the end of the year, we will have no more gasoline in reserves. So also there is this gas arrangement, natural gas, which is important for the industry, and this is really, really shaking the country. And I think it's also important that from Brussels comes a hand that this is what Ms. von der Leyen said, that the European Union can help in this process. But it will, Serbia will have to decide on do we really want to become a member of the European Union and part of the policies, also sanctions to Russia. So yes, this is a big challenge for the government, who is playing on both sides for years. And I think it's impossible to stay that way, because we will have also taxes on Chinese steel, because the Chinese are owners of the biggest steel mill in Serbia. So a lot of things are now coming to a deciding point.
I just want to squeeze in one question. We've just seen images from the Novi Sad tragedy, and we're approaching the November 1st anniversary. What can we expect to see on November 1st and after this tragedy? Can we expect any developments from Aleksandar Vučić?
Well, he's very afraid of what will happen, in the terms that it will be a very mass event, and he will do everything he can to diminish this event. We have talks about cancelling public transportation by trains to Novi Sad for 2 days before. But right now, the students have already made, some of them are already going to Novi Sad by foot from other parts of the country. So you will have students going through places around Serbia and coming on foot to Novi Sad. So we expect a very, very big rally, probably the biggest yet. But we also expected a peaceful rally, because it's a commemoration, and this is what students said, and this will be the main topic. But we will show that after a year, there is so many people that demand justice, end to corruption, and this need and the change of government generally, because they are asking for new elections, and they want a government that will actually obey the law. So I think it's going to be a very strong impact on the entire country, because the students are going from town to town, reaching Novi Sad, and this will be a full campaign of, let's say, it starts today, and it will be, the culmination will be on the 1st of November.
Okay, Nikola Ćurčin, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was a pleasure.
And that's all for this edition of World Talks. Thanks for joining us, and we shall see you very soon. Goodbye.